Fuck-ass Pawncast! Fuck-ass Pawncast! Who wants a hand job? Anyone? 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 Hand job? Anyone? So in episode 1, I talked about waking up, and that's all I'm doing so far. So this dude I worked with, the job I went back to, he was having a tough time with things, as we all are, aren't we? I am. And he was always talking about, man, I'm like in my late 50s, so I'm elderly for my race. Spoiler alert, he's black. And I'm like, dude, don't talk like that, man. Come on. Like, you talk like that, you're just gonna invite some shit. He's like, no, something's wrong. Something's been wrong. Ever since I got off drugs, I can feel all the shit that's wrong, and it's horrible. And he's I understand. He's got he doesn't want to take painkillers and shit because he doesn't want to get tempted. Now it's on the outside, lol. He doesn't want to get tempted to get back into drugs and shit. I respect that. It's just kind of sad. Like, he won't even take Tylenol and Advil and shit. So he'd be sitting there throwing around 90-pound buckets of wire, because that's our job. And then one of the last couple days I worked with him, he was sitting there bullshitting, because imagine that, I'm a bullshitter. I like to bullshit with people. Surprise! Brand new information nobody could have guessed. And he's like, put his finger in his ear, and he was itching his ear, and he pulled out his finger, and he's like, oh. And it was like solid blood from like really damn near his second knuckle on his pointer finger all the way to the tip, like solid blood. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, you got some tissue? I'm like, yeah, I blow my nose all the time. Of course I have tissue. So I was like throwing tissue at him. Not really. I was giving him tissue, and fucking, I was like, how long's that been going on? He was like, oh, yesterday morning. And he'd been like getting all distraught and shit, like, man, something's wrong, man. Like, he was really torn up about his mom, because his mom died fairly recently too, and she was like his world. So, and he reminds me of me when I was like 14 to 16 or so, except for he kept going that direction until recently. But he's been doing really well lately. So when he had the blood coming out of his ear, I'm like, dude, what in the fuck? So I was going through a bunch of different, all these different symptoms that could be for different reasons why you would have blood coming out of your fucking ears. And I was like, how long has that been going on? Yesterday morning. It was when I cleaned my ear out, come out of the shower. I think I hurt my ear or something. I'm like, that much blood coming out of your ear? What the fuck, man? I was going through all the symptoms. He's like, no headache, no this, no that. All right. I was worried about it. That was on a Thursday before the 4-day weekend for Christmas. For real? This far back, huh? Not usual. But, so I was asking him, man, what the fuck, man? What's up with your ear? Is this normal? Like, he's like, no, it's never happened before. I'm like, what the fuck? You should probably go to the fucking doctor. He's like, yeah, he's been talking about he needs to go to the doctor for a while, because of the aforementioned all the shit he feels wrong since he's been off drugs. And man, so that was Thursday, and then Friday morning he's like, man, I need somebody. I'm having a horrible time. It was like 9 in the morning, 8 or 9 in the morning on Friday. And he's like, could you contact Marcia? And I'm like, I mean, in my head, I'm like, you're crazy. Like, I know the stories. I mean, I know his version of the stories, and they weren't very good anyway. I have no idea what reality was. And I was like, well, fuck, my brain just shut off. I was thinking about further along in the story. So anyway, so I texted her, but when I first started texting her, I was like, hey, hello, my name's Eric. I work with Daniel, and I was wondering if you had any tips for dealing, because he has a temper, quite a bad temper. I was like, you have any tips for working with him? Because he's a good guy. It's just I've been accidentally bringing up his mom, and he's been crying a lot, and I don't want to. Yeah, he cries. Men cry. Is there any tips, to help him out? And we talked for a little bit, and then I was telling her, he told me to message you because he wanted you to come over because he wanted to see you, but I was sure as hell not gonna bother with that because I'm aware of stuff that's gone on. And she laughed, and I'm like, yeah, and we were talking. She said, yeah, I don't answer his phone number's blocked, he can't call me, but he can leave messages. And I was like, oh yeah, and she was like, hey, he's been leaving some disturbing ones lately. And I was like, disturbing like threats or like depressed? She's like, really depressed. I'm like, all right, that sounds like what I've been dealing with, or what I've been trying to help him with anyway, whatever I can do. And he'd been talking about we need to find a church, and I'm atheist, and I've been telling him, I'll go to church with you. If that'll help you, I'll absolutely go to church with you. And he's like, well, man, you're an atheist, you ain't going to church with me. I was like, dude, nothing to do with it. I could give a fuck. I don't care. It's not gonna hurt me any. I'll even take part in whatever it is they do. I'm not worried about it. Just get you on track, man. Fuck this shit. So, oh man, my cord fell out. My dick fell off. My nipples are like 4 inches long now, all because this cord disconnected. Get in the hole, bitch. Get in the fucking hole. If I had a longer cord, this wouldn't be a problem. I do have many longer cords at home. I just chose to bring the short, annoying one. So, every bump it's going to fall out. So anyway, the LOL brigade. So we're talking, and I'm like, she's like, I could probably go see him. I was like, oh, I wouldn't ask you to do that. I'm like, I'll go meet you there, so you don't have to be alone with him. I mean, it sounds bad, but there's a bad history there, so I wouldn't ask her to. I know, I was just trying to help him, so I'm more than willing to be there. And so we decided that we were gonna go chill and check out his place at 9 a.m. the next morning. I'm not fucking going a different route. Just go straight. Fucking wasting. I'm not doing shit. So anyway, sorry, I was talking to Google Maps. I could give a fuck. You can save a minute and a half. Nah. Fuck it. So, and then about a half hour later, my wife and I were out there to pick up a computer I bought for $30. And, because I just needed to stream video. Doesn't need to be any kind of fancy. So then he texts, I'm like, hey man, I got a bunch of DVDs here, because I just finally got his fucking DVD player working, because first I got it working because I had all these discs with computer file videos on it, because a lot of DVD players, if you put in a disc with whatever video format, usually, lately anyway, it'll play it, but I had several different formats I wanted to try, and it's not working. So then I was trying, he's got a USB port on his TV, so put a bunch of different file types on that and plugged in. None of them work. It's like, man, fuck. So, man. So, and then I brought an HDMI cable to hook up your DVD player. No HDMI port. It's like, fuck. Didn't look at his DVD player. I just assumed. HDMI has been a part of DVDs for many, many years. DVD players. So I guess long time ago that DVD player came out. I guess DVD players have looked about the same since, 2000 or whatever. Oh, gotta go. 10 minutes. I think it's 15 minutes, but I'm just gonna.